Hey everybody, it's me, John Anthony Chihawk Soltero. I am here. I'm going to ink the final Bubba for what maybe next year I'll call Bubbatober. And that is Sabu. The first one I called Bubba, and his superhero alter ego is Captain Teacup because he was a teacup chihuahua and rat terrier mix. There's so much about Sabu that was exactly like whom he was named for in professional wrestling. Foley was named for Mick Foley, of course, and originally we were going to name Foley Cactus Jack, but when we saw Foley, he was just too cute. So we couldn't, of course, name this cute little dog Cactus Jack. But when Sabu came around, he was the first one that me and my then girlfriend Jessica got in October of 2008. So we would have adopted him, 11 years ago today? October of 2007, so it would have been 12 years. So we're, hilarious story about this, how we adopted him. She wakes me up on a Saturday morning at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and she's like practically jumping on the bed, and I'm like, what's going on? And she says, we're going to Marana. And I'm like, why on earth would we go to Marana? And she's like, we're going to get a dog. And my whole thought process on the thing was, at the time, Cypress still lived at my mom's house. But she was still my dog. And so I was like, well, I have a dog, so I don't know whose dog this is going to be. Anyways, long story short, we get to Marana. We pull off the I-10 to a Circle K. And I love telling this story because it's so great for so many reasons. She goes inside to see if the person who was we were going to adopt Sabu from was inside, and I stood out front, and this car drives by, and I don't know why, I don't know what possessed me, but I made eye contact with the driver, and we both like looked at each other and nodded, like a weird recognition, even though I had no idea who this person was driving. It was just kind of one of those automatic things. And Jessica comes out of the Circle K, and this guy comes walking out, and me, I'm still kind of in a huff because I'm like, I don't want a little dog. I have my dog. And this guy, he comes walking out with this tiny, tiny dog. And the instant I saw him, I fell in love with him. It was so hilarious. We brought like a really nice soft towel, and we wrapped him in the towel. And immediately went to PetSmart to get him a collar. And then went to my mom and my stepdad's house, where Cypress was, and he got to meet Cypress, and Cookie wasn't around just yet. And he was so small, he could actually run underneath Cypress without like her moving out of the way or anything. I swear, I wish that was back before smartphones. Otherwise, we probably would have had video of it. And he just was bouncing around and stuff like that. And Cypress got along with him pretty good. And then the funny thing was we bought pig ears to give to him, and we bought like a 2-pack so we could give one to Cypress, so Big Sister felt special in the moment. And she was eating her pig ear, and she stopped for some reason to like sniff at him, and he ran over and he grabbed her pig ear, which was almost as big as him, and tried taking off with it. And like, she didn't get mad at him or anything. It was so cute. She was a really good big sister. And so on the drive into Tucson from Marana, we're trying to think of names for him. And my favorite horror movie, and still is, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I was like, what about Leatherface? And she's driving, and I'm holding on to him. And there, like, no response whatsoever from Sabu. And she knew I loved professional wrestling, especially ECW, and that Sabu was my favorite wrestler. And she said, what about Sabu? And he picked up his head because he was just like, I don't know, taking a nap or something like that. And he must have just really liked the way it sounded. And he looked over at her almost in an approval. And so we were like, okay, well, his name is Sabu. And we're still driving into town and still just trying to like, well, you know, maybe Sabu, maybe not. And she says, what about Gargamel? And he, again, you know, looks up from his laying down position. And we're like, all right, well, like, his middle name is Gargamel. So he is officially Sabu Gargamel Chihawk. He had so many nicknames. It was hilarious. And at the dog park that we used to go to, which was the Udall Dog Park, Sabu was so like little and timid. He didn't know how to play. Like, he would play with us, and you know, we'd pet him and roll around with him, and you know, give him kisses and treats and stuff like that. But like, he didn't know how to play with other dogs because his sister Cypress was a really big dog, so they couldn't really play. And there was a little dog at the dog park named Sadie. She was a little Yorkie. And she taught Sabu how to play. It was so hilarious because he was so timid, like he didn't want to play, but she was so relentless and wouldn't not let him learn how to play. And so within a matter of like 2 visits to the dog park, he learned what playing was all about. And one time, because he was so little, and Chihuahuas don't really have a coat, like a bottom coat. So he would get really cold really, really easily. And he would like shake and shiver and stuff. So we were spending time at PetSmart getting him these like goofy little outfits and stuff. We got him like a little camping jacket, the little vest, you know, the little insulated vest. He had a little hoodie, little gray hoodie, and he would wear that to the dog park. And Sadie would actually jump up, because he was like a tiny bit bigger than she was, I think. But she would jump up, like put her paws on his back, and she would pull the hoodie down, because it was tucked back behind his head, like back where the cape would be, like back here, and she would pull it up over his head. And so you would just watch him and see this like little long little snout sticking out from underneath the hoodie. It was so hilarious. Like, he became a little playful guy, and very much like his namesake, he was so tough and durable and fearless. Like, he didn't understand that he was smaller. That didn't matter to him. One of his favorite times of day, just like all the Bubbas, is nighttime, Mimi time. And he would get so excited going to bed. We had a bed that was a king-size bed, and it was, I would say it was a good about 3 feet off the ground from where the floor was to the, the top edge of the mattress. And he started bouncing around on the bed. And he was bouncing, and suddenly there was no more bed. And he fell straight to the ground, and we were on the second floor of an apartment, and we were sure we were going to hear him like crying and wincing and everything, and he was going to be hurt. And all you heard was the little thump of him hitting the ground, and then you just heard him run through the house like thump, 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 thump. It was amazing. Like, he wrestled with Foley when we got Foley and Guri together. We really wanted a friend for Sabu because he would get so sad when we would leave for work and stuff. And he was such a good big brother. Like, he taught Foley how to wrestle. But he was kind of like a naughty big brother too, because he would get Foley to gang up with him. They would gang up on Guri, and then he would get Guri to gang up on Foley. It was hilarious the way they would do stuff, but they were just such a good team. And then as they got a little bit older, almost within the span of, I would say like, by the time I think we moved into the house in August of 2008, Foley and Guri were bigger than Sabu, like easily bigger than Sabu. And when they would wrestle, Foley did the cutest thing. He would actually like plop down on the ground, and he would like fight from his back and paw at Sabu. And so that's the way they would wrestle. And it's just such a wonderful memory to have that they're a team. They're always a team. And that's how the Bubba Patrol works. And it's fitting that I think it was during lunch that I actually changed what I was going to draw for today, because Sabu was scheduled for the next day, I think tomorrow, and but I changed it to Sabu. And then after I got home from work today, Charlie at Charlie's Comic Books here in Tucson emailed me and let me know that they the collected edition of the Bubba Patrol arrived. And so I'm really glad that I changed to do Sabu today. So, and I think with this piece, it being day 21, I have matched what I did last year for the amount of days. Last year was my first year doing Inktober, and I've now officially done my 21st piece for Inktober. So, hope you enjoyed that little bit of history and lesson about the first called Bubba, Captain Teacup. His name is Sabu. Thanks for watching.